entry.
Look. What's the worst thing that can happen? We'll all die, right? Well,
Welcome to the Shermer High Alumni Association. I'm Kristin.
I'm Jeannine.
And I'm Carole.
And we rewatch movies from the 80s to determine, did that age well?
This week's movie is SpaceCamp. So grab your freeze-dried ice cream and get ready for a movie that proves NASA's worst nightmare is a group of unsupervised teenagers.
Join us as we rewind, rewatch, and remember the decade that shaped us. Good
Hey,
evening.
everyone. Hi. Oh,
Hi.
how are you?
Just fine. How are you?
Fantastic.
Are you happy to be back on the West Coast?
I am. It's sunny and 84. And
Same.
is it?
Yeah.
It's been gorgeous all week.
Of course. We're getting ready to head out of town again. Couple days.
Where to?
Heading down to LA. We're gonna go hang out on a cruise ship for a couple days.
Thanks for the invite.
And Tavia can wear her cruise. We'll have cruise Tavia.
I love Cruise Tavia.
Oh, everybody loves cruise Tavia.
It's the best
She's
Tavia.
great fine.
Is this her cruise alter ego outfits?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
It's just a whole alter ego.
Love it.
So we're gonna go do that for a little bit. So I don't know that I'll be with you guys next week. Wow.
I'm back.
You're back.
Hello.
You're back.
Welcome stateside, Jeannine.
Thank you.
How was your international adventure?
It was a wee bit wonderful.
Yeah.
Everything
fun?
is wee.
Wee bit.
We have
bit.
a wee dinner. You have a wee drink.
You have a
Everything
wee
is
wee?
wee. Yeah.
Really?
Wee. Yeah. Everything is wee.
That's so cute.
It is. There's a lot of
Surprising.
stuff in Ireland that makes so much sense.
Like what?
Like that they drive on the left-hand side. So before I went there, I was like, that's dumb. But then when you go there, you're like, this makes so much more sense. Like in a roundabout, like you go to the left and you could just make your left-hand turn. Like you're in that outer lane when you make a left-hand turn. I don't know, it just flows so much better. And then like when you're making a left-hand turn, like on a street, you're going from curb to curb. You're not like crossing over traffic.
Okay. I can't
Interesting.
realize that, but I believe you.
It
And
just
you got to experience European water bottles.
yes, that they have the flip top
Yeah.
and their tops don't come off. Like on a 20 ounce, it just flips.
It's perfect.
It is.
Why can't
Although I will say that their pop tastes different,
because they use
don't-
real
Yeah.
real ingredients.
but like it was great.
So now that you've been able to travel internationally, where do you want to go next?
Shanghai Disney.
We agree with that.
That's Hong Kong Disney?
No, Hong Kong Disney
No.
is separate. There's Hong Kong and Shanghai.
Oh, okay.
I would highly recommend that people visit Ireland, especially the countryside. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Dublin, it's so great. No, it's cool. It is cool. Dublin is cool. But once you get out to the countryside, you're like, holy shit, this is beautiful. Beautiful. And you can't even describe the smell. It just smells so fresh and grass and peat moss. And it's great. We don't smell that here. Like how clean it is there.
That on my bucket list.
You should.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a
So-
great time.
And we heard you made some friends that work for a company that we love.
I did. And one of them would really like to be on our podcast. He happens to love 80s movies
Well, we would
almost
love to
more than
have
we
him.
do.
We would love to have him.
Yes.
That would
So
be great.
we'll add a special guest, Tommy,
Oh, great.
sometime soon. And we'll also have a special guest, Boogie.
Okay.
He would like to be on a couple episodes.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Can I assume everybody has seen this movie before this rewatch?
I have.
I'm pretty I want to think that you watched it like all the time, Kristin.
Yeah, I think she did.
Probably.
So I think with you
Makes
doing
sense.
that, we ended up doing that.
Okay.
I remember watching it quite a bit.
I think because it was exactly what Kristen's experience was.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
exactly the same.
This is the story of Kristin's childhood.
Yeah.
Lucky her.
And I had a space camp boyfriend.
You did?
You did.
Oh, I remember that. Wait a minute. Did his name start with a K?
No,
Oh, God.
started with a G.
Greg,
No.
Garrett.
George.
Gandalf.
Yes.
Wow. Lucky you. You got
Yeah.
to see
Exciting.
Gandalf. He was probably much older than you, though.
What?
Gandalf.
Oh,
God.
So did this movie influence your attendance to Space Camp?
oh, it had to have. It had to have. Because
I
went
remember
2 years
picking
later.
you up from the airport. Oh, backtrack to our listener. Kristin attended Space Camp.
Yes. Just the mother of Kristin. Then Kristin went to space camp, in case you
Yes.
can't remember.
In 1989.
Wow.
I remember picking you up from the airport at the gate.
Where was I?
Which is crazy. Does that mean I just went and got on a plane by myself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To Huntsville. Like, how did I
Yes.
even get to Huntsville? Did
I'm
I traverse
sure there was a
airport? Like,
I wasn't in your experience.
I know. I'm like,
Where's the closest airport to Huntsville?
Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
It
there's
is
probably a Space
because
Camp.
I remember
shuttle.
it because it looks like a Ohio highway rest stop.
Oh, yeah. So you probably fly in there, and then they have a space camp shuttle
Shuttle.
that's
I know,
shaped
but how
like
did I get
the shuttle.
to Huntsville? There was no way there was a Cleveland to Huntsville, Alabama flight.
Back
So,
then,
like-
maybe there was. Let's give the benefit of the doubt here.
You think
Unless
you had a layover somewhere?
You had to.
Yeah. And like my little 14-year-old self, like just did all that.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
smart.
And no
That's just-
airline like batted an eyelash at a minor child, just
was
like
the 80s.
running around. Honey, I feel a
This-
lot of bugs.
Do you remember going to space camp though?
I do.
Okay. Did you get to go in the thing?
That's
the round
not real.
zero gravity thing? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's fake.
Do you still have your flight jacket?
That's a very sore subject.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Kind of like
Rewind.
the
That would be no. You want to know the story about that? I worked at Ponderosa and I had a manager who was obsessed with space and he asked to wear it one time. And I was like, whatever, fine. And he stole it. And he stole my
Who
flight-
is this person?
I don't know. I wish I could go back on the play records of the early 1990s. He also stole my flight manual.
The things you do remember versus the things you don't remember is astounding.
she remembers trauma.
I remember.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh, I'm
don't remember
sorry
that.
that happened.
the guy that stole something very important to you,
Yeah.
but you stalked your boyfriend from Space Camp.
I don't stalk anybody.
You know where he works.
Yeah. So do you remember Space Camp being everything you thought it would be? Was it similar to the movie?
It was similar to the movie. I think I point out some discrepancies, but we didn't go to space. We also didn't drive 10 hours to Kennedy, which is a whole other thing. But
Yeah.
space camp's in Alabama. Kennedy,
Right.
Titusville, Florida. So
Right.
those are not close
Not at all.
at all. But I guess that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Why don't you tell our one listener about our movie this week?
Will do. So, Space Camp is a family sci fi adventure about a diverse group of teenagers and their instructor, Andy, who is played by Kate Capshaw, who are accidentally launched into orbit aboard the space shuttle Atlantis after a sentient NASA robot takes one of the campers' wishes literally. Once in space, the untrained crew faces immediate peril, including a critical lack of oxygen, in an emergency that leaves their instructor incapacitated. To survive and return home, the teenagers must overcome their personal differences, rely on their specialized camp training, and work together to manually pilot the shuttle back to Earth for safe landing.
Oh, good synopsis. So, as
Thank you.
mentioned, we have Kate Capshaw, and she was born Kathleen Sue Nail on November 3rd, 1953, in Fort Worth, Texas. She graduated from the University of Missouri and moved to New York to pursue acting, landing her first role on the soap opera The Edge of Night before transitioning to film. She starred in Dreamscape in 1984, and that same year won the role of Willie Scott in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, directed by Steven Spielberg, whom she later married in 1991. Her subsequent film work included this week's movie, as well as Power in 1986, Black Rain in 1989, Love Affair in 1994, and Just Cause in 1995. Her last acting role was in 2001 television film A Girl Thing. In 2009, she shifted focus to visual arts, studying drawing, painting, and portrait. She concentrated on painting portraits of homeless youth, and in 2019, 3 of her works were selected as finalists in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery's Outwin Buchever Portrait Competition. That's a handful.
That's a lot of words.
Jeez.
Yeah.
She has 6 children and plays Andy in this movie.
We also have our girl, Leah Thompson. And we here at the Alumni Association believe that Leah Thompson is the actor that we've seen the most across the collection of films that we've rewatched so far. If you'd like more information on Leah, check out episode 3, Howard the Duck, and Leah plays Catherine in this movie.
And then we have Kelly Preston, who was born Kelly Kamalele Hua Smith on October 13th, 1962 in Honolulu, Hawaii. She began her career as a model at 16 before transitioning to acting, with early film roles in Mischief and SpaceCamp in 1985 and 1986. She gained wider recognition with Twins in 1988 alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and later appeared in Jerry Maguire in 1996 and For the Love of Game in 1999. She met John Travolta on the set of The Experts in 1989 and married him in 1991. They appeared together again in Battlefield Earth in 2000 and Gotti in 2018. Kelly Preston passed away on July 12, 2020, at the age of 57, following a 2-year battle with breast cancer. Kelly plays Tish.
We also have Leaf Phoenix, better known as Joaquin Phoenix, who was born Joaquin Raphael Bottom on October 28th, 1974, in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the middle child of 5 siblings, all of whom have worked in acting. The family adopted the surname Phoenix after leaving the religious group Children of God and settling in Florida in the late 1970s. He began acting alongside his brother River in television commercials and small roles as a child. And during this period, he went by the name Leaf Phoenix, a name he gave himself. His first major roles came in SpaceCamp in 1986 and Parenthood in 1989. He took back his birth name in the early 1990s and built a reputation for critical roles in To Die For, Gladiator, for which he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and Walk the Line in 2005, where he played Johnny Cash and won a Golden Globe and a Grammy. He received 2 additional Oscar nominations for The Master in 2012 and won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Joker in 2019. More recent work includes Napoleon and Beau is Afraid in 2023 and Eddington in 2025. Joaquin plays Max.
But wait, there's more. We have Tate Donovan, who was born Tate Buckley Donovan on September 25th, 1963, in Tenafly, New Jersey. He studied at the University of Southern California and began appearing on television in his teenage years. His early film roles included This Week's Movie, Clean and Sober in 1988, and Memphis Belle in 1990. He voiced the title character in Disney's Hercules in 1997 and appeared as Rachel Green's love interest in season 4 of Friends, which was notable given that he had just ended a real-life relationship with Jennifer Aniston. Later film work included supporting roles in Good Night and Good Luck in 2005 and the Oscar-winning Argo in 2012. On television, he played Jimmy Cooper in The O.C. and Tom Shays in Damages, and later moved into directing episodic television for shows including Gossip Girl, Weeds, and Damages. He won a Primetime Emmy as a producer on ESPN's 30 for 30 shorts. Tate plays Kevin.
We've got Tom Skerritt, who was born Thomas Roy Skerritt on August 25th, 1933, in Detroit, Michigan. After graduating high school in 1951, he served 4 years in the United States Air Force before studying at Wayne State University and UCLA. He made his film debut in War Hunt in 1962 and broke through with Robert Altman's MASH in 1970. He went on to appear in Alien in 1979, The Dead Zone in 1983, Top Gun in 1986 as Commander Viper, Steel Magnolias in 1989, and A River Runs Through It in 1992. On television, he won a Primetime Emmy for his lead role as Sheriff Jimmy Brock in Picket Fences, which ran from 1992 to 1996, and had a recurring role on Cheers in the 6th season. He has appeared in over 170 films and television productions across a career spanning more than 6 decades. Tom plays Zach.
He is 92 years old.
That's insane.
Yeah, he looks good.
He just seems to be that guy that's in everything.
Everything.
He's awesome. There is also Larry B. Scott, and he was born August 17th, 1961 in New York City. Scott is best known for playing Lamar Luttrell, the openly gay fraternity member in the Revenge of the Nerds film series from 1984 to 1994. His film credits also include One in a Million, the Ron LaFleur story as Gerald LaFleur, SpaceCamp, Fear of a Black Hat, The Karate Kid, Iron Eagle, Extreme Prejudice, and That Was Then, This Is Now. On television, he appeared in series such as Barney Miller, The Jeffersons, Seinfeld, Saint Elsewhere, Magnum P.I., and Martin, and starred as tech genius FX Spinner in Superforce for 2 seasons. He also voiced the Paladin in Diablo 2 and returned to the role for Diablo 4.
Wow. So the musical score for SpaceCamp was composed by the acclaimed film composer John Williams, whose iconic work includes Star Wars, E.T., and Indiana Jones. Williams brought his signature sense of adventure and wonder to SpaceCamp, creating a soaring orchestral score that captures the excitement of space exploration and the film's youthful spirit. His music remains one of the movie's most memorable elements and has become a favorite among fans of his extensive body of work.
And this film was released on June 6, 1986, with a budget of 18 to 25 million.
There weren't helicopters, but there sure were space shuttles.
Oh man, that's quite a budget. But the box office only brought in 9.7 million.
Womp,
womp.
womp.
It was made in the summer of 1985 and was the last film made by ABC Motion Pictures, which was closed down in October of 1985. This was primarily shot at 3 locations, including the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, the Kennedy Space Center in Titusville, Florida, and Laird International Studios, now called Culver Studios, in Culver City, California. They did make a full-scale replica of the space shuttle, and that must be where that large budget went to. That's it. That's crazy. Wow. And this film was completed before the January 28th, 1986 explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger, which killed all 7 crew members and shocked the nation. When the movie opened on June 6th, 1986, less than 5 months after the disaster, many felt the subject matter was too sensitive and way too soon.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense now with
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Bad timing.
Bad timing, unfortunate circumstances.
They should have shelved it. They really should have shelved it.
Yeah.
And I think that they originally did delay it.
They did. They did delay it. They
And
just
so-
didn't delay it long enough.
Yeah, they didn't delay it long enough.
Yeah.
They should have waited until 87.
Honestly, like,
Yeah, they probably should
don't
have just
even
shelved
know.
it.
I don't
But they
even
put so
know.
much money into it that I think
Well,
they
the
had
company was already out of business. So
Yeah.
who cares what it made or didn't make? But I don't know. I don't even know if 87 would have made a difference. But it did very well after the theaters. It did very well at VHS. I know that doesn't contribute to box office, but that was too soon. That was way too soon after Challenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee I didn't see this in a theater.
Yeah. Should we get into it?
Let's do it. We open the film in 1963. A little girl is lying in a field staring up at the night sky, watching John Glenn's Friendship 7 streak back towards Earth. She decides right then, looking at the sky, that she is going to be an astronaut. We cut to 1986. Andy Bergstrom, played by Kate Capshaw, lands a T-38 jet at Kennedy Space Center and steps onto the tarmac. She's a fully credentialed NASA astronaut. She's also never been to space. She keeps getting passed over for missions, and she's frustrated. Her husband, Zach, played by Tom Skerritt, is a former spaceman, now working at NASA, and he says it's a good thing she wasn't chosen for the mission because now she can spend her summer helping him teach at the SpaceCamp program. Now we start to meet our SpaceCamp campers. First up, we have Kevin Donaldson, who's played by Tate Donovan, to give you the visual, who rolls in and immediately parks his Jeep in Zach's spot. And he's rocking out by himself. He is just jamming out. Zach admonishes him, yells at him, like, get out of my space. And as he's moving, he spots a girl climbing out of a biplane that just happens to land on the grass next to the parking lot. That girl is Catherine, played by Leah Thompson, and she is clearly serious about flight and being a pilot. Kevin must think she's cute or hot or whatever, because he actually ends up, as they're going through their line, getting their team colors. So think of the 4 primary colors or whatever. He switches his ID badge with somebody else so he can be on the blue team. When they're checking in with Andy for the blue team, and she calls out the name of the 5th person who is not Kevin, I guess she just doesn't care about the kid who didn't show up and was just like, whatever, fine, you're just on my team now. The rest of the team consists of Tish and Tish, played by Kelly Preston, is your basic Valley white girl. And we also learn that Tish has a photographic memory. Rudy Tyler, played by Larry B. Scott, is a nerdy science kid from a military family. And he carries a lot of pressure to succeed, to be good, but he has some, I don't know what you would call it. He like esteem issues, maybe. And then there's Max Graham, played by a very young Joaquin Phoenix, who at this point was still going by Leaf Phoenix. And also, I had no idea that Leaf and Joaquin are the same person before this rewatch.
I did, because I remember
Good for
at
you.
some point that the actor Leaf Phoenix disappeared, and I thought
thought
that something happened to him.
I thought
And
he
then,
died.
yeah,
Okay.
no,
So I was like a couple days ago old when I realized that they're the same person. Max is 11 years old, and he's very obviously been at SpaceCamp a few times before in the junior program, and is just begging to be on the older teens team, to which Andy allows him to be. He's also a Star Wars fanatic, and he genuinely believes he belongs in space. Andy assigns out the roles. So, in a space shuttle, you have a shuttle commander, you have a pilot, you have multiple mission specialists that carry on different duties. And Andy asks Catherine about shuttle commander. Now, keep in mind that Andy is a pilot, and Leah Thompson has this way of acting in which when she gives her little impassioned speeches, she does this tilt of her head and she closes her eyes. Does anyone else notice that?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She kind of does this thing about anyone can be a pilot, but you have to be somebody special to be a shuttle commander, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think it's
AKA
outward.
Catherine.
Okay, Catherine. I don't think it's outward, but I think it offends Andy. And Kevin's kind of, I'm not taking any of this seriously. I agreed to come here to maybe get the car. Was that the deal? And he has zero seriousness. He doesn't care what he gets. When Catherine's like, I really want shuttle commander, anyone can be a pilot. So basically, Andy makes Catherine the pilot. She makes Tish a mission specialist for communications. Rudy is a mission specialist on operations. And she makes Kevin the shuttle commander. I don't think Max gets a role. I meant to go back and look, but I don't think he gets a role. And we don't care. And now we're inside, and this is when we meet Jinx. He's a small robot that was he or she. I'm not going to gender assign to Jinx. Small little rotund robot who was being developed for eventual use at the space station that was under construction. But he had issues, and they kind of had to scrap Jinx. And Jinx and Max must know each other because this is like Max's third year there. And they're, or maybe they don't, I don't know. But Jinx becomes immediately attached to Max. Max even hides Jinx in his dorm closet. And he's discovered one night with these douches from the green team who all look like they're 19. They all look very old, and they're bullying the robot.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
what you do.
they're
That made me sad.
they're it's like hooligan. They're being like hooligans to a robot, and they're shooting all these questions out to him. And so then Jinx malfunctions or dies or smokes or something. Something happens to Jinx and he just stops working. And Max ends up staying all night. He's up all night somewhere trying to fix him. And I think this is when Jinx, like, he gets Jinx working and like he declares them like friends forever. I can't do the Jinx voice. Maybe
Friends forever.
Yeah, that was super close. Who's better than me? You've got the deep voice too, because you're sick.
Yeah.
So it worked for you.
So I can be Jinx.
Yep. Okay, so the blue team is not vibing. Okay, so let's talk about SpaceCamp. The same exact things happen. You're sorted into teams, they are colors, and everybody on your team is assigned a job. I was a mission specialist of operations for my flight, and we had a shuttle command. I think, yeah, shuttle command. We had all the same roles. Maybe not the max role. I don't remember. But you basically spend most of your time at Space Camp learning. So it's not riding rides or anything like that. You're like solving problems and you're doing a lot of math, and it's very scientific. This is not for the faint of heart because of how in depth it gets. But it isn't until the end of the week that you really start to get to apply what you've learned. So, just as a little overview, Kevin, obviously, he's just not taking his role seriously. And I don't remember which came first, but okay, maybe that was okay. So, hold on. So, Catherine is tasked with using what they call a multi-axis trainer. And this is like three like rings that are spinning that is supposed to replicate the sensation of a plane or a shuttle being in a flat spin. You want to see a flat spin? Watch Top Gun. And it's not real. This thing's not real. This is not at SpaceCamp because it doesn't exist. It's fake. But basically, it's that you have that you're not allowing the spinning to get to you, and you can keep piloting without spatial orientation. Anyway, she doesn't succeed, but she keeps wanting to try. And Kevin is trying to kind of hit on her, but he's also being a little condescending while hitting on her. Anyway, but he convinces her to go sneak out at night to go see the space shuttle Atlantis up close as they can get. And it actually could have been a sweet moment. It actually could have been something. However, somehow, and I don't remember, maybe you guys, I don't know how they're discovered to be missing. Not where they are, but how someone knows they're missing.
They were doing like head count.
They did a head count. Okay.
And then Jinx told on them because they asked Jinx where the best place to go was.
Yeah, yes. They had originally asked Jinx where the best place to go and how to get there, and then an alternate route. So Jinx had in his memory what he had said to Kevin about how to get to the launch pad. So I guess when they did this head count, they discovered that Kevin's missing. Nobody was ratting him out, like none of the human beings. But then Jinx from the metal closet gives up to Zach and Andy, I believe, or Zach, where he is. And so Zach and Andy end up driving out to the launch pad and catching Kevin and Catherine. But Kevin had told Catherine that he had cleared it, that they were allowed to go do this. He lied to her. Because why?
Because men are slime.
There you go. Okay, disclaimer, that's just something our dad says. That is not necessarily the
The
view
views of
of the Shermer High Alumni Association.
yes, it's just a dadism.
It's a dadism. So Kevin gets back and completely blames Max. He is super mean to this kid. Super mean. What a douche. And Max runs out of the dorm, and the dorms weren't that big. I think you had maybe 4 or 6 people per pod. They were like pod dorms. This was like a big, huge room. And Max runs away into like a common area, and he's sitting there talking to himself. And Jinx had followed him, and Jinx hears Max say that he just wants to be in space. The blue team now has their first attempt in the flight simulator and botched this royally. Catherine, first, Catherine leaves her post as pilot to go take over Rudy's role for operations because they've broken something. They've broken some panel, as if these kids are supposed to fix a broken panel. Because she's left her post, because she's not responding, because she doesn't have a headset on, they die. Not really. In the simulation, they die. And it is Catherine's fault. It's Kevin's fault, but it's Catherine's fault. Andy sits Kevin down. This is your fault. This is your crew. You are responsible for them. In life and in death, you are responsible for them. And it starts to resonate with Kevin like a little bit. Like not a ton, but like a little bit. Tish and Catherine are walking somewhere, and Zach is putting up a flyer about this opportunity that has come about down at Kennedy, that a team from SpaceCamp will have the opportunity to experience the pre-launch sequence, basically, of the Atlantis during a routine engine check. This is something that would never, ever, 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 ever happen. 1, because Kennedy is a 10-hour drive from Huntsville. 2, NASA's not letting children get on board a billion-dollar shuttle being tested, especially engine testing.
The liability on that must be unbelievable.
Crazy. You don't want anyone near there. You don't want any. Anyway, the blue team is selected to board Atlantis for the routine engine test. Now, prior to this, Jinx has gone to the server room of SpaceCamp, and he's asking his server computers, how can I get Max to space? And they're running the probabilities, and you can't. No probability, blah, blah, blah. And they get to a point where it's like, the only way this shuttle could go up is if it experienced a thermal curtain failure, which is also not a real thing. That is not something that can go wrong with a shuttle. And so Jinx takes, I don't know, the computer code to run a false positive down at Kennedy. So somehow Jinx gets to Kennedy and runs this false code into the system. And the computers at NASA interpret the engine test as having this thermal curtain failure. And the only way that they can stop this is to launch the shuttle. Because if one thermal booster cannot fill and the other one's not, they can't be imbalanced. They have to be balanced. And if they aren't, it would result in a false takeoff but then one of the thermal boosters would fail and it would cause the shuttle to crash, which feeds into this whole too soon, guys. Too soon. So Andy takes over Catherine's position as pilot, and Catherine kind of falls back. And as they lift off, Catherine's still not strapped in. And I don't know how you survive that exactly. They are now in orbit. Nobody on board is anywhere near qualified to handle this after their 5 days of reading a book. And the shuttle was basically, the only word I could come up with was dry dock, was basically in dry dock when it was being tested. So the oxygen isn't complete, it's depleted, and it's not flight ready. And they only have 12 hours of oxygen. And then they all just, what happens when you just don't have oxygen anymore? Do you just implode?
Yeah, I think you would.
Is it a large Marge situation? Like,
You like
Mm.
hyperventilate.
yeah, but what
No?
happens to your body when it's like there is no oxygen? Do you
Let's Google that.
just become a raisin?
It's a good question,
Would your
man.
body just kind of vacuum seal itself?
Nope.
Anyway, Andy remembers that the under construction space station is actually nearby to them. She happens to know that. And oxygen containers are stored there that could buy them more time. So they navigate towards that. They have lost communications with ground control, but Tish has an idea about using Morse code to try and communicate. So she starts doing that, trying to get a signal to the ground. Andy suits up and exits the shuttle to go and retrieve the canisters from the space station construction. But she can't quite get to them. So I don't understand exactly if she can't get to them, how can anybody get to them? But they're just out of reach and she just can't get to them. So then the decision is that Max goes out there and tries to get to the canisters, which he is able to do. And then Andy leaves Max. She's like, okay, you good? I'm gonna go get this in. What? And that's when Max goes loose, right? That's when he gets the second canister or whatever, but he doesn't get back to his drivey thing. And Andy sees him kind of floating off. And so then she is in her little powered guy, and she's flying up to go save Matt to the cargo hold, the cargo bay. And Andy needs instructions on which hoses to use to connect the oxygen tanks to. And something goes wrong, and the oxygen tank backfires on her, and it sends her slamming into a wall of the cargo bay. She's unconscious, and she ends up floating out into space, but Max is able to hold on to her. But somehow, at the same time, ground control has decided to start taking control of the shuttle. Without any communications with the shuttle, they somehow know this is the time that we're going to close that shuttle bay door because they have to meet this window to come in back into Kennedy. Not Kennedy. Anyway, but Ground doesn't know that they're not okay to return because Andy is just floating out there into space, but she's got this I don't know what she's even connected by.
Like a tether.
She's got some sort of tether on her, and Max is holding on to her. So now they're closing the cargo bay doors, and Andy's just floating out there like a baby on an umbilical cord. That's what it looks
Literally.
like. Catherine knows that there's a manual override somewhere, and she initiates it. Kevin takes control and really starts to show his ability as a leader. They start to work together to save Andy. Max gets Andy into the cargo bay and brings her back into the shuttle, and she's unconscious and unresponsive. Ground control is still not responding to Tish. They're starting to get a little disheartened by that. And the team really needs Kevin to take the lead, that they really need someone to look at. And basically, they're just floating around in space. Catherine consoles Kevin that he's a good, and she does that thing again. She does that thing where she tilts her head and she closes her eyes and she's, "You're a good shuttle commander. I'm a good pilot."
Yeah, very typical Leah
Yeah,
Thompson.
that was my recreation of that.
You
It
did a
was
good
very
job.
nice.
Thank you very much. Rudy asks if it was Edwards, because they would be landing at Edwards, not Kennedy. They would land at Edwards. And Rudy actually questions, is that the only place we could land? I thought I read something about White Plains, which is just in New York. Kevin's just like, yeah, bro, that's in New York. And Catherine remembers that White Sands, New Mexico had been used as an option in the 80s. I guess they're in the 80s, but yes. And wow, if they could get the coordinates to White Sands, they could get back to Earth. And so this is like where you see that this team has really come together, all of them, without the adult, right? The adult's been removed from the situation. In the meantime, Jinx, because he's made it from SpaceCamp and to Kennedy, and I guess we're just supposed to think that this is all in one place. I get it. That's fine. I know I'm focusing on semantics here. Jinx visits ground control, and Zach's kind of, is there something you can do to help us? Maybe thinking that Jinx could do something. And at the time, he zeroes in on the Morse code coming in, and he just starts saying the letters, to which they're like, Jesus, get this thing out of here. And Zach is kind of watching Jinx watch one of the control panels, and he realizes that Jinx is just repeating letters that are being communicated. And they get a Morse code guy to come over, and they decipher that they are requesting an alternate landing location for White Sands, basically because they need the coordinates. Back in the shuttle, they're still not getting a response, but they're still hopeful that they'll get something. And all of a sudden, all the boards are flashing. All the boards are flashing around her. And I could be wrong on this, but I believe she says something like, whip me, beat me, take away my charge card. I haven't done a t-shirt in a really long time, but
Yeah,
I feel like this is the next one.
it's a good one.
Yeah. And NASA is responding. NASA does get them the coordinates for the entry window that they need to be at. Rudy does the calculations, and it's in 6 minutes. Coming back through they all get into place. They're all strapped in, and coming back through the atmosphere. Of course, Atlantis enters into a flat spin because Catherine overshot the window, we'll say. And so they enter this flat spin, but Catherine is able to take control of the shuttle, and she does everything in her power to get that, because you have to be at a certain degree, you have to be at a certain angle to be able to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. And because the Earth is constantly spinning, you have this very, 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 very specific window and degree of reentry that you have to meet, or you just burn up in the atmosphere. And so they're really not sure if they've re-entered, because they're just like in clouds and they're just, are we dead? Are we not dead? What's happening? And they finally see the city. It's nighttime, and they see White Sands, New Mexico, and they report into ground control that it is Atlantis. Everyone cheers. Some people cry. the team, they all love each other very much. This is where ground control then puts the aircraft on autopilot, and they bring the shuttle to a safe landing at an airstrip, and everyone is happy. The John Williams music is playing, and we get a very illuminated B-roll shot of some shuttle landing somewhere.
I kind of wish they went on from there to see them getting welcomed back or their families embracing them. I just felt like it missed
Like an
something.
abrupt ending.
Yeah, I wish there was more to it.
You
There
could
should have been a party, like a space party.
It didn't even have to
Right.
go that far. Just seeing Andy and Zach reunited, and maybe Catherine and Kevin maybe having a moment or something like
Yes.
that, or Rudy's parents being proud of him, something like that.
Link's going up and giving Max a hug.
Just like
Like-
something like that would have given this, but it's just like it ended.
Yeah.
It was like it was like Popeye. They were just told to stop filming.
You're
Get out.
right.
Get the cocaine out of there. You're done.
Come back. Give us what you
Yeah.
got. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
So, Carole, what did our boy say?
Our boy.
Mr. Roger, our buddy, gave this 1.5 out of 4 stars. Geez, Roger.
Wait, so
And-
before you go into that,
Okay.
let's reiterate just from the beginning of this episode, which this movie could never have been a success.
No.
Never. It never had a fighting chance. That being said, go ahead. Sorry.
Roger Ebert said that the great looming presence all through this movie is the memory of the Challenger destroying itself in a clear blue sky. Our thoughts about the space shuttle will never be the same again, and our memories are so painful that SpaceCamp is doomed even before it begins. The time is not right for a comedy thriller about a bunch of kids who are accidentally shot into orbit with their female teacher. It may never be right again. Word.
He's
Yeah,
not
he's-
wrong, but I
You're
don't
not wrong.
think the movie itself was
just
reviewed
came-
right.
Yeah, it came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not, I think it's the movie house's fault, but it's not the actors, and it's not the writers, and it's not the directors, and all the people that put their time and energy into this movie. I don't think it's fair review, but
Bad timing.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Miami Herald said Space Camp is perfectly harmless and perfectly dull, but it comes at a time when NASA could use an esteem booster. For all those who get just a touch queasy at the Top Gun lesson, in which shooting down planes in peacetime is presented as role model behavior, Space Camp offers a non-violent corrective.
And the New York Times said the outcome is pretty predictable, but it's done well, and the actors do a good job of transforming general types into individuals whom we grow to like. It is also hard to resist Jinx, the funny little computer responsible for all the trouble. That's true. So on Metascore, it was given a 40.
Yeah.
Which isn't the greatest, but then the user score is a 6.5, which is generally favorable. That's not that bad.
Not horrible.
So what
This-
did you guys think of the movie in and of itself? Aside from the Challenger thing.
You know, it's so hard to separate the two as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that like the idea of the movie is cute. If we take out the Challenger, which I know is really hard, but let's pretend the Challenger catastrophe did not happen, which I know is,
Seems
It's weird to
sacrilegious,
even think that.
but yeah.
but yeah, if you just set that aside for a second and just think about the movie, like the idea of it is cute. You know, they go to space camp, they learn about space, and like something has to happen that gives it like this arc. So, I mean, of course, yeah, I get it that they were launched into space. I think the storyline is cute. Could it have been more? Yes. Did it age well? Yeah. Could you remake a movie like this today? Yes, I think you could. Yes. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite movies. I don't believe that I would sit down and watch it again on a Saturday because it's been many, many years since I've seen it. And we used to watch it all the flippin' time. I don't see why I need to watch it again. I also would say that it has no cringe. There's no parts of it that you're like, yikes. So I'm going to give it a not really, and I'm not going to watch it again.
Fair. I would also like to point out that SpaceCamp is still a thing. And for
is.
minimum $800, I think we should go.
Ooh.
It's 3 days, 2 nights.
Oh.
It's an adventurous weekend experience allowing campers to assume roles in hands-on interactive space missions. So just
Okay.
throwing that out there.
When one of us wins the lottery, we're going to SpaceCamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it.
And also,
I'll go.
there are some famous people that have been to SpaceCamp, like Chelsea
Oh.
Clinton.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think a Nixon daughter went. Another
Yeah, there were quite a few people that I was like,
they're
wow.
on went.
Yeah. Wow.
I can only assume this movie actually made going to SpaceCamp popular.
Oh, yeah. It was a great advertisement for space.
I wonder how their enrollment is.
Oh, I bet it's still pretty. Tavia's aunt and uncle live in Huntsville.
Oh, we can stay with them.
Road
Well,
trip.
We'd be staying at
We'd
SpaceCamp.
be staying at Space Camp.
I love that. Well, I am going to agree with the not really cringe. Unfortunately, this was just horrible timing. I wish this came out in June of 85 rather than 86. Then perhaps it may have been a bit more appreciated and done better, but I actually was impressed with the acting. The storyline was cute. I think it's a little longer than I anticipated it to be. It's almost 2 hours. But they filled it up really well. I didn't think that there were many dull spots. Kept you on your toes with anticipation of what was going to happen next. But yeah, I'm going to give it the not really cringe. I think I will watch this again. Oh, and we need to talk about where we did watch it. Where did you watch it, Jeannine?
Oh,
YouTube.
Me too.
Excellent.
What about you, Kristin?
I watched it on YouTube.
Okay.
Obviously, not unlike you guys, I am my father's daughter. And space and NASA and the science behind all of it was a very large part of my youth up until I started to have really terrible eyesight. I had ambitions of going into like working within NASA, perhaps not as an astronaut, but like Lockheed Martin or something like that. And so this attending space camp, I don't think it would have resonated with me as much had this movie not existed, honestly. I really. So I think the storyline, it's good and it's simple and it's showing it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? People not working together, having some sort of horrible thing happen, becoming a team, all that. I do think it ends abruptly and weirdly. Again, did it age well? I think it did. I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything in this movie where you're like, oh, yuck. None of that really exists. So yeah, I think it did age well. It could be remade. And I would watch it again. If it was on TV and it was on, I would watch it just because it's simple to watch.
And it's nostalgia for you.
And it's nostalgic. So
I wanted to talk about what would happen to you if you lost oxygen.
oh, okay.
Oh, please inform us.
If you're in a space shuttle that has lost its oxygen supply but remains fully pressurized, you will experience hypoxia, which is oxygen deprivation, while your body physically remains intact. Because the cabin maintains its atmospheric pressure, you will not experience the Hollywood myths of exploding, having your blood boil, or freezing instantly. Instead, the process is quick, painless, and quiet fading of consciousness. So the timeline for hypoxia is 0 to 15 seconds. You have a time of useful consciousness of roughly 10 to 15 seconds. During that brief window, you're physically capable of recognizing the problem and you can try to fix it. At the 15 to 30 second mark, you go unconscious. As deoxygenated blood reaches your brain, you will pass out completely. And at the 2 to 4 minute mark, you become brain dead. So after a few minutes without oxygen, irreversible brain damage occurs, followed shortly by clinical death.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yay. Yay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Inquiring minds wanted to know.
Yeah. I'm so glad they got their oxygen.
Yeah, it would have made the movie a little different.
Oh,
Is that all we have to say?
I think so.
I think so.
All
You
right.
can't really follow up from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Sorry. So, what did we learn from SpaceCamp? That teenagers can fly the space shuttle even without proper oxygen. And we also learned that launching into outer space is as easy as making friends with a cute robot named Jinx.
Remember to keep your feet on the ground and that we will always be friends forever. See you next week.
Thank you for joining us at the Shermer High Alumni Association. If you had as much fun as we did, hit follow, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow 80s movie lovers. Until next time, be kind and don't forget to rewind. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.